Now, something is sick in New South Wales, particularly Sydney. You've had 11 young men and teenagers now stabbed to death in violence involving the so-called Postcode gangs in the past 4 years. Like the 17-year-old who was stabbed at Sydney's Royal Easter Show this year. Now, sentencing statistics show that the number of children found possessing a weapon was 21 last financial year, 21. That is 50% more than 2 years ago, higher than any year in 5 years. Now, Sydney's Daily Telegraph has put together a brilliant documentary video series that pulls together all these killings, tries to look for patterns and things. And one of the journalists behind it, Mark Morri, joins me now. Mark, thank you so much for your time. So many killings, you know, it's staggering when you put them together. 11 all stabbed to death. What's going on?
Oh, well, but try to, figure it out. There's this culture now that's emerging that is quite frightening. And when you say, 11, most of them are teenagers. And most of those who have carried out these killings are teenagers themselves. And that's, terrifying. You talk about the gang wars where you've seen them in Melbourne. But this is something different. This is our youth that are killing each other. And what's driving it is what we all have to look at, not just the police. It's not just a police problem. This is now a community problem. And some of the things driving it, I believe, are social media and rap or drill music, which is probably a genre you're not really au fait with, or neither am I. But it's
No.
something that's very much behind it.
Well, let me talk about some of those cultural issues. And, we are talking here about the postcode gangs. Might explain that, and knife crime. We're not talking about like the Middle Eastern gangs. That's a different kettle of fish. What cultural issues do you think are at play? I mean, for one, you talked to one guy who's trying to help out, who said, well, look, there's a particular problem with some Pacific Islander communities. What was he talking about?
There is a major problem with some very disenfranchised youth from the Islander community, and the police are working very much with those communities. But there seems to be they seem to be trying to find some sort of identity. Now, we saw that with the Middle Eastern crime families a couple of generations ago, and they've now emerged as a major crime factor. So it seems to be history repeating itself with a different group of people, of young people. I'm sure that's happening in areas, Sudanese, we have some of those problems, but there are quite a few Anglo young men who are joining these groups as well because they're part of that postcode, because they associate that they're part of this, Doonside or Mount Druitt, and they then decide that they hate the other group. It's something I have trouble understanding, that it gets to the level where you produce knives or you carry knives constantly in case you're in conflict or you go looking for conflict.
Well, I guess they're all feeling like, little soldiers protecting their own turf. It's strange. You also mentioned the influence, and you've said it tonight, of drill rap music. You go into rappers like Huncho. What's happening there exactly?
Well, I know the police are very, very worried that a lot of these songs are depicting violence. They're inciting these young men to go and join groups. Huncho is allegedly linked to the Alameddine family. He's faced criminal charges, yet he's got this hero status, and he actually will go out and he'll talk about one group against another. One of the most sickening ones, I believe, was a young man who was part of the 21 district, which is a group, was stabbed to death. And then there was a song that came out and said, 21, I guess you're just 20 now, making fun of the fact that a guy from 21 was dead. Now, that is just so provocative, So naturally, 21 district feel like they have to go and retaliate. So it's, it incites. There's no doubt about it that it actually puts these young guys, pitting them against each other, and it's the music that's obviously part of it. I'm not into censorship, but if you went and stood in a park and said, let's go grab a knife and go and kill people, you'd be arrested.
Yeah, but there's been a legitimisation of violent lyrics in, you've seen rap music for quite a while, gangster rap, etc., etc. You're seeing, particularly in Aboriginal communities in the Northern Territory, some people identifying with particular rappers. It's just, look, there's something going on here, Mark Morri, and thank you so much for putting the spotlight on it. We need to think about ways of tackling this. Thank you so much.